Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today we're working on the 39 Mercury again. So as you guys have noticed, we're working on that all winter and just showing every single step in detail. So if you missed any of those videos, we show chopping the car, Columbia rear, all kinds of stuff. Whole series of videos. So in the last one, we tucked the rear bumper in, which was probably the most suggested thing in a video ever. And we tucked that in. Second most suggested was a gravel pan. And we're going to tackle that today. So yes, we had all these things planned, but they take time. So today we're going to be making a custom gravel pan to basically cover the bumper irons, cover those buckets for the 41 taillights, all that stuff, and just really on a custom, it really cleans everything up in the back end. So we're going to work on fitting that in. We're also going to try and get the license plate lights in a custom license plate mount made, and hopefully by the end of this we will have everything kind of looking how it's going to look as far as the rear bumper stuff goes. So let's get started. Alright, so we did a bunch of sanding on the inside corners where it wraps around the fender. This is always the hardest part, to get it to fit in how we want. Now, we did this almost same thing on the 38 convertible, and it looks pretty good and decent after doing it. What I did is bought some of this like 1/4 inch edging, rubber edging material, and since we're not welding this to the car and we're leaving the fenders with the factory welting for now, this go around, we're going to put this on so it gives a nice finished edge. It also gives us a little room for fudging because if there's a little area where there's maybe a little more gap than we would like, you can push the edging out just a little bit and cheat it just to make everything look good and natural and fit. So we're pretty happy with it now, so we're just going to put this on. What we usually do is paint this, then we glue it after it's painted, and then put it on for the final time. Because this edging, while it does grab pretty good, it, like trying to wrap around the corners like Steve's doing there, it needs a little bit of help with some adhesive. So we usually use some silicone or something. I don't know whatever adhesive is.
Whatever we got handy, yeah.
JV Weld, whatever.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
But I do like how this gives a nice finished edge on the 38. We kind of did it just like, yeah, we had some in the box. And now, after we did it, we're like, wow, that looks really like nice. Looks like it's a factory part almost. So rather than leaving a raw cut edge, I think it's a nice way to do it. So, and this is 14 gauge that we ended up using, so it's a little thicker than just sheet metal. Since it's so small, I didn't want to put any beads or anything like that in it, because kind of unnecessary. It's only about 3 inches at the narrowest section there, so putting a bead in it would be unnecessary. And yeah, so get this edging on, and then once we're happy with everything, then we make little 90-degree tabs throughout that we spot weld to this, and then we fit it back on the car, mark it on the car, and then we put our threaded inserts in the in that lower pan underneath of this, and that'll actually hold it in tight against the body. And these kind of sit on the bumper mounts slash tail light buckets that we made. Kind of rests on it a little bit, so it should work out pretty good if it all works as we hope.
What could possibly go wrong?
I hope I don't make another one, because that might have been the last piece of metal we had. No.
Right?
Seems to be working.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I guess because this metal's a little thicker, the edging seems to grab it better than when we've used it.
It fits better. It fits nice, yeah.
Better than like 18 gauge or whatever. I thought we glued it on the other one, but maybe we didn't. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Kind of excited to work on that car again too. That's what stinks. Our summers, we only get half a year to drive the cars. And
Yeah. You gotta pack it all in.
if I had a full year to drive the cars, it'd be way better. Once this Mercury's running, I'm not gonna want to.
Right.
I don't want to drive that every time. That's what happens every year. I get a car on the road, and that's the car I drive 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Stroll car was a couple years ago. Now I barely drove it.
Yep. Right. It's your new girlfriend. Yeah.
The DeLorean car was finally going last year, so I drove that thing everywhere.
Yep.
It helps. It's a convertible.
Right. It's a 32 Roadster.
Yeah.
You can't really go wrong.
I drove the blue car, the 38. Once we got the radiator stuff sorted out, I drove that a lot. That car's cruises really nicely.
Oh, good.
That car should probably have a Columbia as well.
Sure, why not?
You could probably get away with 354s and that with the Caddy engine. I think it's got.
Yeah, with the overhead valve engine.
So we were doing rolling it up like that. Right?
Yeah, put the back edge in first.
I think my way.
Your way?
Yep. A little more. Oops.
Yeah.
Get it under the deck lid.
Yep.
Yeah, so we now let's tighten the bolts up. See what it is. There might be I think that might work out. So you might be able to cheat the edging just a little bit.
Yep. Not gonna catch.
Last time I was able to I guess we're gonna have to put a, probably have to put a threaded insert in the fender.
Yeah.
Because it's, you get all this area that's gonna flop, so we may have to.
Yeah, it's gonna flop around too much at the end if we don't.
So we gotta put one probably in that corner there to get that to sit. Yeah, because it wants to droop just a little bit. And now that we got everything kind of tight, it's not just, I mean, I got most of the twist out of it.
Yeah.
Now I think it's sitting there. So now the question is,
Oh, that cleans it up, man.
yeah, having that,
That
getting rid.
really cleans it up.
Yeah, it's not a little too much. I mean, the only thing I could do is get thicker edging for here.
Right.
Get a like 1/2 inch. Because it pretty much takes up the gap. Well, I mean, if it's just an air, like a tiny air gap. Yeah, it's just actually pushed it off just a little bit there. Put my glasses there and didn't put them on. Now I can see. Does this one with your mark, the back edge actually sticks out off of the piece? Is that okay? Or is its back edge supposed to be flush? I just got to cover your whole white line if I do that.
That's probably okay. We can adjust it if it's a little off.
Okay. It might also have been I used a different one than you used before. Maybe the bend was a little different.
I had them all marked in the...
Oh.
They should have all been right where they were supposed to be.
Oh, well then I probably messed that up.
No, I might have missed a little bit with the line.
No, I didn't realize they were where they were supposed to be.
Okay.
So I think I picked up the end one.
Gotcha.
And used it on the last one.
Oh, that's it. Now it's gonna suck.
The prep guy's fault, not the welder.
Warranty's over now.
All right. So what, we got to mark those holes then
Yep.
on the body. Hopefully this doesn't make it a lot harder to put on.
I know, yeah.
We may, I mean, you may have to just take the bumper almost all the way off.
Yep.
All right, so Steve got his custom license plate mount all hooked up, and we have some jumper wires. Just we're going to show you in a moment the lights working again. So ended up just buying a pair of they're just like motorcycle license plate lights. These are like chrome acorn style, so at least they look cool to go in and work for the license plate lights. Unfortunately anymore, when I bought these when I was like a teenager, you could get them with little tiny bulbs in them. Nowadays you can only get them with LEDs, but they're not super bright, so it works out pretty good. But Steve made this little license plate bracket that bolts to the bumper, and then you can kind of hide the wires inside of it. I made the two bolts here that bolt the bracket on. I put them on the lathe and drilled holes through them so that you can run the wires through them, and everything's kind of hidden and clean. You can see in the last couple of shots before here on the outro, I made these little rolled pieces on the end, and that just capped everything off. To be honest, we were basically about done, and then I kind of just glanced over at our friend Pete's car, and 46.8 has that from the factory, like rolled over like that. I'm like, that kind of would be nice to do that on this car. So went down a
whole day rabbit hole.
Yeah, basically. But we had a bunch of stuff we needed to adjust with the brackets and everything else. And then we were able to tackle a bunch of the license plate stuff. So everything's on. I think it makes it way more clean. You don't see any of the stuff going on underneath of that gravel pan, which is really cool. Like I said, the ends are capped, so it just kind of rolls and disappears. And I think we mentioned in the last video with the bumper, we're gonna eventually hopefully put the exhaust tips kind of right underneath the taillights. I think all that'll balance out that little bit of busyness, kind of, will actually balance it out, believe it or not. So we'll show you the taillights and the license plate lights. They're a little dim, but I think they're totally fine. We're doing the bare minimum here for the
law.
For the popo. So that's that. I'll go turn the lights off. And those are dim, right, Steve? Those are...
Yeah, those are the dims. Those aren't the brake lights. Those are just marking lights,
yeah.
marker lights, yeah.
So those are our marker lights. And then we got the license plate lights, or those tiny little...
I can read the license plate. It's bright enough.
Yeah, just barely. I mean, you can read it. If you get up close enough, you can read it. We're obeying the law. It's just an old car with crappy old lights on.
That's how it came from the factory.
Yeah. Just tell them it's 6 volt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still 6 volt. But yeah, pretty happy with how that all looks. So yeah, we got all this done now. The bumper project for the rear is pretty much done. I don't even think we showed it on camera, but Steve and I actually had to straighten this bumper after the bumper video or something in between there.
Yeah.
The bumper right in this area, it must have backed into something lately. And when we started making this gravel pan, we started taking measurements at the fenders, and the right side was actually pulled out away from the fender a little further than the driver's side. Good thing we took some measurements. We found that there was a little wave in the bumper there, and we put it on the pressed it and worked back and forth. The bumper irons on this side were actually a little damaged, so we had to heat and bend one of them to get everything to line up. But now it's on. It's really good. The wave that's in the bumper you can't really even see anymore. My plan is eventually someday when this car is like really nice, we'll have the bumpers re-chromed. But they are good enough for now. We're going to stick with the kind of old custom Survivor look for now. It's going to have shiny paint, but we're not going overboard with totally repainting the car because I want to drive it again this season. So that's all we have for this one. We're going to be working on exhaust, getting the exhaust buttoned up or reconnected again. And then we're going to here soon spin the car around and start customizing the front portion of the car. And that'll be our last kind of round of major things that we're doing to change the car. So thank you guys for following. Let me know what you think of the bumper and the new custom gravel pan. Thanks guys. Catch you later.